Welcome to the Beyond the Mat podcast, an in-depth talk show discussing exclusively WWE topics.
My name's Rick Boogs, and I came to rock with the Beyond the Mats podcast that is beyond the MATT podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Mat. This is our weekly review edition. Doing it a little later in the week due to our schedules, but that's fine. It'll be ad-free for everybody, Patreon or not. But remember to join us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. $3, $5, and $10 are the other tiers that we have. We have merchandise, Discord, ad-free content, bonus content, early content, many other benefits. I actually just got done finalizing the merchandise and it's being sent to us today, so it'll go out to the initial members here soon. And remember that if you join the $1 tier, we will give you the benefits of the $10 tier if you join before July 31st. And one of those benefits is being able to join our show at any time, but you can always be a part of the show if you email us, matt@beyondthemat.com, or follow us on Twitter. Shoot us a DM at BeyondMattWWE. And remember to follow us on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and all the other social media platforms. Leave us a 5-star rating or review. Let's get into this past week. We had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, a Raw episode, as well as SmackDown. We did do a SmackDown review on its own, as well as a Raw review earlier in the week, but wanted to tie everything together. I got Kyle with me once again. How you doing, Kyle?
Good evening, folks.
All right. So
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I guess.
Sorry. You know how sometimes you like, for some reason, you just start reading something in the middle of you responding to somebody's question. I don't know what happened, but I started reading something as I was talking out loud. Folks, this is live right here. We're not cutting this out. We're bringing it to you guys live.
Yeah, we're not going to edit that one out. No, too much. Fuck that. That's too much work.
That's right.
Anyway,
we're here to have fun, folks.
Biggest story of the week was Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. 24-minute match on Hell in a Cell main event.
What a feud.
Great match. Don't know if they were going to do most of those spots had Cody not had the injury. I don't know if a lot of it was, things that Seth came up with that he knew would take time to set up so that Cody could sell one spot to the next. But regardless, amazing match, amazing effort by Cody Rhodes. No criticisms whatsoever I can have for any part of that. Definitely worthy of the sell. You have Seth Rollins on Raw after Cody cuts a babyface promo teasing that he could come back for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view with the torn triceps muscle and all. And not tricep, what the hell was it? A pectoral muscle? Pectoral muscle. Yeah. All right. Torn pectoral muscle. He's saying he's going to reach for Money in the Bank. That ain't happening now because backstage he was beaten with a sledgehammer again by Seth Rollins. Amazing effort by Cody Rhodes. It was honestly a little bit difficult to watch that match given the fact that he just was purple on one side of his body. And I could tell how much, there's selling faces that people make, especially after watching wrestling for as long as I have. I can tell when someone's selling and when they're making that face that you can just tell that they are in excruciating pain and there's nothing they can do about it. And they just moved one of their limbs in a way that's usually normal to them, but it's causing them an indescribable amount of pain. And I just think that the one thing about all this that I'll say negative is that I really hope that that Cody Rhodes had a doctor clear him to compete. At the very least, say that this is a serious injury, but this is not something that could get worse while you're out there wrestling.
I mean, it does seem odd that if you have an injury that requires surgery, that you would not go wrestle a match. You know, like I feel like if I had any doctor that's like, oh yeah, you need surgery, but you'll be fine. Like I'd be like, I don't think you're a good doctor.
Yeah, and they say it all the time. Like in football, they have doctors now that will tell guys that have concussions, you cannot play. I don't care. They take people's helmets from them when they can't play.
They're very serious about that now.
And so they could have taken Cody's helmet in this case, if he was that hurt. And so I'm not questioning whether he was hurt or not. He absolutely was hurt.
It's real for sure. And it looked so bad that it almost looked fake. That's how bad it looked,
Yeah, what I'm questioning is whether or not somebody of, a high medical authority, being it a doctor or whatever, the WWE doctor said, okay, you can do this, or no, you should not. And then whether or not WWE disregarded that, whether WWE said, listen, you need to sign a paper if you're going to go out. I mean, who knows what happens behind this? I figure if he had to sign a waiver to go compete, that would be something that we would know about. But I also don't think that's something that they do. I think part of their contract is that, what they're doing is dangerous. But he had a torn pectoral muscle. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't go Google a bunch of crap that, what could happen if you aggravated already torn off the bone pectoral muscle. Corey Graves had a great line though at the end saying that, a one-armed angel flew into hell and, won a battle with the devil. So like that was an amazing line by Graves, and Graves did a great job, with the emotion of the whole situation and all that. So, but overall,
and he usually is on the side of the heel, so he would probably be defending Seth normally, but in this case he wasn't. He was actually siding with the babyface. So, that's how much the announcers were trying to put over how big of a deal this was for Seth to beat up Cody like that. Yeah, and the word around the internet or social media is that Cody did have a talk with a medical professional, and they told him, well, you can't tear it anymore, so you can't do any additional damage. So if you don't mind the pain, then it's okay to wrestle, which to me, like I said, that just doesn't sound like something that a professional would say. But I am not a professional, so I will not give my own opinion. I am only just repeating what I've heard, through social media so far, is that he did have that conversation and he was okay to wrestle. It's insane to me to think that that's possible.
Well, I have heard like guys with, on football teams with really bad, like, a really bad groin tear or something like that. And they'll say, well, it's a matter of whether you can deal with the inflammation of it and the pain. And if you can play with it and actually do that, then, you could aggravate it more, but I'm not going to stop you. So we'll shoot you up with these different things. And if they work for you, then they work for you. But whatever, regardless of whether they shot him up with anything, he had to have been in an excruciating amount of pain. And I think it was, a great story and a great match. And, it's sad to see him out for a while. But the one saving grace of it is it gives way to younger people and more people to get more TV time. And, we saw that play out a little bit on Raw. But, you never want to see people get more time at the expense of somebody who's clearly on the rise and clearly on a trek to some kind of superstardom if he's not already there. So, the whole thing with Seth Rollins, obviously not over. He basically wrote Cody off TV for a while and got his heat back. And that's one of the reasons why Seth Rollins is so great. He can lose 3 matches in a row and be so instrumental in that match last night. Because you got to understand, it took 2 last night to keep it took Seth Rollins last night to keep Cody Rhodes safe, So God bless Seth Rollins, because if Cody Rhodes was in the ring with somebody who was an idiot and, wasn't safe and was powerbombing through a table and didn't do it in such a way that didn't aggravate the injuries more, then, that would be bad. Seth Rollins knew what he was doing. He knew to take a little bit extra time to go get the sledgehammer from under the ring, things like that. That allowed Cody to sell and allowed him to communicate with Cody, make sure that he wasn't, ready to end the match right then and there and things like that. He allowed Cody to hit a couple signature moves early when he knew Cody would have a little bit more agility and ability to actually do those moves. He hit the Cody Cutter and the disaster kick right out of the gate. And I think that, Seth Rollins deserves a lot of credit for what happened, just what we saw. So overall, we're not going to see Cody for a while. Sad to see that. He wins 3 times in a row. When he comes back, probably around Royal Rumble time, I think that he's a shoo-in to win that. And we'll see who's wearing what title at that time and how he'll go after it. And maybe, like I say, you never want to wish anybody getting hurt, but maybe him winning the Royal Rumble and challenging somebody besides Roman Reigns for the WWE title is something that's an even better story for him. And having this injury comeback when it's all said and done, a better story for him than going and winning Money in the Bank and doing it that way. So that's just putting a positive spin on it. But
yeah, and they really made Cody look like the toughest person in the world, and he really got a great babyface push from this Seth attack. And a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh yeah, that was a good way to get Seth heat. No, that was a great way to make Cody look like a freaking boss, like one of the strongest people ever. That was really helpful for both of them. I don't want everybody to just look at this and be like, Seth's the one that benefits. No. We all freaking love Cody now. Cody is so over. Even people that he wasn't over with before, he's gotten over on them now because of this whole situation. So it's great for both of them. Now, the follow-up question, of course, is what's Seth going to do while Cody's gone? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that he's going to end up maybe around Survivor Series time, maybe before that, being a Roman Reigns challenger. He does have unfinished business there. He could take time off if he wanted to. He is the top heel on Raw right now. And, they're doing other things with Theory and Lashley being the other, big baby face on Raw other than Cody. So, there's any multitude of things that Seth couldn't get himself involved into, but I would think that the Money in the Bank ladder match is something that he's going to get involved in, or, he could get into I guess it'd be a little bit too soon to get back into a feud with Edge after what happened with Judgment Day. I was going to say, there's a baby face and a heel, but, Seth Rollins, I don't have a good feeling for where they're going with him right now.
Let me just list some options off the Raw roster, considering baby faces. AJ Styles, he's probably going to be fighting Finn Balor. I'm just assuming because of this whole feud that's been going on between those factions. But AJ Styles is out there. I don't know if they could have a match or a feud for some reason, but there's one name. Let's see, what would be another? Probably neither of the Mysterios. They're getting beat up by Veer. Let's see. The rest of these are tag team baby faces. You got Mustafa Ali. If he's done with his U.S. championship title run, I guess he could fight Seth. That's an option. Randy Orton's not back yet. Let's see. More baby faces. Oh, there are none. I got to the end of the list. Those are your options.
Well, I can tell you something about the Street Profits. Montez Ford looks like he's been spending a lot of time in the gym. And
yeah, yes.
They're getting ready to.
Angelo Dawkins too. You notice how much he's slimmed up? He's toned out.
He does look better, and he looks better in the. He's been doing tope suicidas, and doing swanton dives off the.
Yeah, swanton. Woo.
So he's been better too, but I think they're getting ready to do something with them singles. But who knows? Maybe it's just
against Seth,
them getting in better shape. I don't know.
Seems a little early in their single runs to be rubbed up against Seth. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see it though. Seth against Montez would be a hell of a match.
No, I mean, I think Montez Ford's a stretch. I think something's going to happen with Roman Reigns eventually, but in the meantime, I don't know. I don't know who the big baby face on Raw is right now.
I think maybe Mustafa Ali could go after him. Maybe he could say, I want to go after one of the best. And Cody said, you're one of the best, Seth. So let's, have a match and find out. Who knows? He's done with Theory, right? Maybe.
Yeah, he's done with Theory. I mean, I think it's Theory and Lashley right now, and then I think Theory's going to move on. We're going to see Rollins in a Money in the Bank qualifying match, I guarantee you. And then he may, just cut promos and dance about how he's going to win Money in the Bank for the next month, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, he did win that ladder match back in October. Or November or December, whatever the hell it was, to get that folder that had a contract for a title match that he never got. So I can see him being a part of the Money in the Bank scene, at least being in the match. You need a veteran in the match that can, do different spots and kind of, run the match. And he's somebody who fits that. So he might be, somebody they get into a Money in the Bank qualifying match, wins that, and then that's sort of his assignment right now. But who the hell knows?
Yep, they're running out of options.
Yeah, moving on from that, we have Bianca Belair successfully defend her Raw Women's title on the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell against Becky Lynch and Asuka. The finish came when Becky Lynch had the match won, hitting the manhandle slam on Asuka with Belair discharged from the ring, but Belair was able to get herself back into the ring, toss Becky out, cover Asuka, and make the pin. Nice spot here where Asuka had both of them, Becky and Bianca, in the ankle lock. Becky had a lot of good little spots. She had a leg drop on Bianca Belair when she was hung over the second rope. And then we saw Bianca Belair do her usual stuff with the standing handsprings and the stalling delayed suplexes where she'll do squats and start marching in the ring, stuff like that. Really nice display between these three ladies here. But the feud moving on is going to be Asuka and Becky, as we saw on Raw. The 24/7 title the match between Dana and Becky happened, and this was because Dana and Becky had been running into each other backstage, and Becky kept saying, "Get out of my way, this is my interview time." And Dana said to Pierce at one point, I want to have a match with her. That's why this match happened. A lot of people are like, why is Dana Brooke wrestling Becky Lynch? But that actually happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And there was 3 weeks in a row where Becky would sort of shove Dana Brooke out of an interview. And so they have this match. 24/7 crew runs in. Tozawa gets pinned by Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke wins the title. Becky Lynch says nobody wins titles in my ring. Becky Lynch then gets distracted by Asuka after starting a 24/7 title match with Dana. This allows Dana to roll her up and pin her. And to me, the whole story here is Becky Lynch's obsession with titles, no matter what title it is, and also her obsession with Asuka and her distraction, the distraction that Asuka causes her. And so they have Becky actually go after the 24/7 title, which is beneath her, and then get totally distracted just by Asuka being at ringside. Regardless if she pulled her legs or not, she was distracted by her, loses Dana Brooke, and continues, spiraling out of control. But the overall feud is Asuka and Becky. And then on the Belair side of things, her next feud is with Rhea Ripley. So what do you think about these two different women's feuds we have going on here?
I love this, man. These are great wrestlers, and that Hell in a Cell match was my favorite match of the entire week out of Raw, SmackDown, and Hell in a Cell. I love it. These women are great, and they each got to show in that match too. They got to like exhibit their strengths and take control of the match at some point. So it was great. Now this whole situation with 24/7 title championship running in and interacting with Becky, a lot of people are freaking out about it. It's like, well, part of the story, guys, is that Becky has stooped so low, that her character has dropped so low that she's now involving herself with these type of segments. So by you guys flipping out and being like, oh man, 24/7 so bad, why is she tied up into it? That's the exact reason why she's tied up into it, to make you say, man, Becky stooped so low that she's wrapped up with these guys now. So that's part of the story. I liked it. I thought it was great storytelling. Like 24/7 championship, I really don't like their segments at all. And I think this is a great way to utilize it, to be honest. It's pretty insulting to be the 24/7 title, but I mean, they've been insulting that title for years, pretty much since it, ever since Crash got rid of it. Crash Holly was done with the hardcore title. So, and it's been on a downward spiral the whole time. So, and you know what? The other cool thing, guys, is don't forget that Dana Brooke actually got in some decent moves with Becky and actually had a small match. I mean, that's the most we've seen Dana Brooke wrestle in a while. They don't give her that much time to wrestle in a 24/7 segment. So, I mean, like, a lot of people were like upset about this segment. I was like, this is great. I'm actually getting decent wrestling in the 24/7 segment, which doesn't happen. I'm getting good storytelling. Becky's dropping so low. You're tying in Asuka with this whole thing. That was cool too. I loved it. I'm sorry. A lot of people didn't like it. I loved this. It was great.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I thought it made sense. Everybody's focusing on the 24/7 part of it and not liking it 24/7. And it's one of those contagious things where, one person doesn't like the 24, and then it's just everybody hates the 24/7 segment. And I honestly believe that part of the reason why everybody is so down on Ronda Rousey is sort of the same thing. Like, everybody piles on Ronda Rousey, and if everybody gave her a break, then she wouldn't seem that bad. I mean, there's been worse champions. You want Jinder Mahal to be the freaking champion again on the male side? You want Nikki ASH to cash in and be the champion again? You know what I mean?
Hell no.
So, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, people are going to follow the crowds, and the other thing I heard a lot too is, like, oh, I can't believe they let Dana Brooke pin Becky. Did you all forget the part where Asuka held down Becky's foot? So It wasn't an actual pure pin. Like, come on, guys. Look at the story they're trying to tell here. Asuka's screwing Becky over. That wasn't just like, oh, she got pinned. No, she got screwed over.
Yeah, simply put, Asuka's screwing with Becky. Becky has a serious problem with Asuka and has, spiraled out of control because she keeps fucking losing. Even though she's putting forth a good effort, she was probably, honestly, in that triple threat match, the most impressive of all three ladies. And they all three were outstanding. That was my best match of the week as well. And
Asuka looked super strong because she had a couple moments where she took them both out at the same time. She had that double ankle lock, and then she had another moment where she slammed both of them at the same time. So Asuka looked real strong too. The champion actually didn't look as strong. I mean, she looked great. Don't get me wrong. Bianca was great, but like the other two looked stronger.
I know, and Bianca did the old thing where she comes in and steals a pin, which is typically something that, a heel champion would do, not a babyface champion. It was something Becky did all the time, especially
Again, that's
at the house show.
Detail.
Yeah, but
they're telling a story there. Like if you guys don't know, like that's how Becky has been winning fights, and she screwed over Bianca in that way. So Bianca is just tit for tat here. She's just doing the same thing Becky did. It's just like Cody when he rolled up Seth after Seth tried to roll him up and hold the tights. Like, guys, come on, listen to the story. They're telling it to you.
Fighting fire with fire.
Yeah, right.
The way we got to Rhea Ripley against Bianca Belair was a fatal four-way match that made a Venom Raw. But before we got to that, we had Rhea Ripley in a Judgment Day segment now at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, just to tie the two together. The Judgment Day faced off against Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor. The club. It was
club.
It was a new club, but it was just
Edge,
a temporary.
I want to be in your club.
It's a temporary club because the next day we had Judgment Day in a promo gain a new member, and they ended up losing a member at the same time. And we have the audio to that actually here. So we're going to track that segment here, and then we'll talk about it.
That's right. So this is going to pick up just after Edge introduces the new member and Finn Balor's music hits, and he comes out to a symphony of both applause and boos at the exact same time. He's got this great look on his face. He comes up into the ring, and I'm going to start the audio up, and I'm going to let Edge take it over from here. Just 1 second.
Finn, last night, I saw the look in your eyes change during our match. I saw something change. So when Rhea and Damian told me that you reached out, I was ecstatic. Because you, my friend, are a game changer. You are one of the most talented men to ever step foot in this ring. I've told you that. You know I feel that way. So please tell me, please enlighten everyone here. How exactly did all of this come to pass?
Well, first of all, Edge, thank you very much for the kind words. The look that you saw in my eyes last night was one of clarity. Clarity that joining the Judgment Day wasn't a choice, it was a calling. And it's a calling that I refuse to fight any longer. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending to be someone who I'm not. Finally, I can see clearly. And I need to extend a debt of gratitude to Damian and Rhea. Last night, I saw you fight with more conviction and focus than ever before. And Rhea stood between us and shielded you when I almost had you beat. And I should have been mad. I should have been angry. I should have been furious, but I wasn't. I was impressed. I was in awe. So much so that I reached out to him last night after the show. And we got talking and we got discussing different things. And we realized that we've got a lot more in common than we even realized. And that's that we're tired of being told what to do.
Edge, you're one of the greatest competitors, and not just in our time, but of all time. That's why it was easy for Rhea and I to follow you into this journey of darkness. And I think now, we realize that in the short time with you, you've taught us to get rid of any limitation that was holding us back. We're ready. We are ready to shed the last bit of limitations holding us back, which is you.
Unbelievable! What the hell is going on? What am I watching right now? What is happening right now?
There you have it, folks. And from that point on, you have the three of them. You have Rhea Ripley, you have Finn Balor, you have Damian Priest just stomping down on Edge, putting them through the mat with their feet. And then you got them hitting multiple moves. They hit the coup de grace. They hit the he hit him with a lariat, I think, knock him down. They hit him
Razor's Edge over the announce table.
Yep, Razor's Edge in the announce table. They pull him back into the ring. Just before the concerto, Rhea Ripley breaks off a chair leg and puts it in his mouth, or Damian Priest, puts it in his mouth and gives him called a Glasgow smile or something like that.
Yeah, that was ugly looking too, man. They really beat the crap out of him,
man.
They
destroyed him.
And, there's a lot of people that think, well, okay, they're getting Edge out of this faction to turn him babyface because they need baby faces because there's no more Cody Rhodes right now. That's not true. They were planning to do this before. Judgment Day's planning on going in a paranormal direction. And Edge doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to be part of a more paranormal faction. And they also felt like it just wasn't getting over at the level that it should, having a star like Edge in it. And so they needed to pivot away from it. They basically just swapped Edge out for Balor. But at the end of the day, during that promo, man, when Balor said, we got together and started talking and found out we had more in common than we even knew. At that moment, I knew that they were about to turn on Edge. Like, I was just waiting for it. And the other thing is when it
feels so quick. That's all. It just feels so soon. But hey, you know what? It makes it more emotional that way.
Yeah, I mean, he did turn heel a couple weeks before WrestleMania. He started the dark stuff. It kind of progressed. And I know, like, I bet if they would have picked up more members more quickly, it wouldn't feel as soon as it does. But we've been just sitting here waiting for more members to join. And the second the fourth member joins, they kick Edge out. It makes sense, though. I mean, I kind of said this a week or two ago. Like, what if all these guys that are sort of, being held up end up turning on Edge? Because he never really got held up. He had an illustrious career where these guys aren't. So, like, what if some dissension happens there? At the end of the day, though, I wonder how long he's going to be out for, or how long they can, have him sit out for after being beaten like that. Is this a situation where Edge contractually has a limited amount of dates, so they're writing him off TV to use him at a different time. Or, I don't think that it's just because they need another babyface in place of Cody. At the same time, they do need a babyface on TV. So to what degree is Edge going to suddenly go from being what he was prior to this, which was basically the star Hall of Famer that everybody loves, tag teaming with his wife, to this evil Judgment Day Mountain of Omnipotence character, to being turned on by, his disciples basically. And now he's going to be babyface. What is he going to be? Himself again? Is he going to apologize to the crowd for running him down every week? Or is he going to say he was wrong for thinking it was smart to go to the dark side? Like, there's that dynamic of it, although I don't know that I need an explanation really. I'm just wondering, are you automatically babyface because your heel friends beat you up? And then just moreover than that, just describe what you thought of everything that went down here and where you think they're going to go from here.
It's just so hard to guess where they're going to go from this, because it's a 180 from a recent 180. Like you said, it seems like just yesterday Edge did a 180 and turned into this character, and we're all sitting around waiting for an explanation. And the Judgment Day has brought little bits of information along the way, but it's been baby steps. Like, we've barely gotten much out of them until now. And just as we're getting to know them and getting to know what the Judgment Day is all about, Edge pulls a 180 again, and apparently is going to turn babyface. Now, normally when somebody gets beat down like that, aka Cody Rhodes in the same exact episode, earlier in the same exact episode, when somebody gets beat down like that, they're usually a babyface, or it signifies they're a babyface because they're trying to get the crowd behind that person. But what are the chances that Edge is still heel after this? I say the chances are actually pretty 50-50 in my opinion, because there's every possibility that he won't be on TV for a week or two. And then when he does come back on TV, he's just pissed off at the fact that he was turned on by his own faction, but he's still the same guy. He's still basically the same similar character, where he's looking down on the fans and he's trying to do things a certain way, the Judgment Day way, just not be part of the faction. I don't know. It's possible, in my opinion, that he can still be heel after all this. I mean, if I get beat down like that, I'm going to want revenge on the people that beat me down. And the people that beat him down are heels. So by default, he's a babyface. I get that. I totally understand that. But it doesn't mean he has to face them right away. He can go face somebody else. He can fight AJ Styles again. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Logically, if he hated AJ Styles so much, then why would him being beat up by his friends mean that he hates AJ Styles?
Right.
I mean, that he doesn't hate AJ Styles. He still hates AJ Styles, right? Or did getting beat up by his friends knock a bunch of sense into him?
Still there, yeah.
Is he going to come out and, be total humble and, full of humility and say, I made a mistake? Or is he going to come out and is he going to say, no, I'm the real Judgment Day guy, not you guys. Fuck you, because I honestly think that would be a little bit corny if they did it that way. I think it needs to go one way or the other. Like I said, a lot of people think that it is just a move to get him babyface because of Cody. It was not reactionary to Cody. It was independent of itself. It just happened to happen at the same time. But yeah, these beatdowns of people are meant to gain sympathy. It's not just to make the person beating the person down look like a badass and for you to hate them. Just like with the RK Bro beatdown after the unification match, that beatdown made little kids cry because they loved RK and they love RK Bro even more because they got beat up like that. And that, you feel an emotion about that. And so, but yeah, as far as Edge, logically speaking, he doesn't need to be anything. He can be whatever he wants to be. But the Judgment Day thing just wasn't working, I guess. And for them, they want to go in a different direction, and that's whatever. But we'll see what happens with him.
I mean, it just feels like it was just starting to get working, like they just won that match.
Yeah. Well,
that's why it feels like such a knee-jerk reaction. Is because they
won the match. They won the match, and Edge finally said that promo.
And he's the one that won. Yeah,
yeah. He made the pin on Balor, but Balor joins the faction, kicks him out, and that promo that he cut the other night, introducing Balor and all that, was probably the best he's done in Judgment Day. His last two promos have probably been the best Judgment Day promos he's done. So many of them have been very low-hanging fruit and just not anything other than cheap heat and just not believable for him. But lately it seemed like it was starting to make, at least come together for what it was. Was it totally over with me? No, but that's me. And
yep. As long as they keep the visual package for the Judgment Day, with the background and the music, that stuff's great. That song, The Other Side by Altered Bridge, is just a killer song. So that's cool. And Rhea Ripley came out to her own music for that final match, the 4-way women's match. But when she won, you heard Edge's music. Not Edge's music, but the Judgment Day music with Edge's voice. So that was a little strange.
Yeah. You had Priest and Balor in the ring with her staring down Bianca Belair, but we heard You Think You Know Me from Edge.
Yeah.
And it makes no freaking sense. He's not there, and he's not he's been taken to a local medical facility. If you watch the bump, you'll find out he has a punctured lung or something like that.
Yeah, he's off TV for 3 to 4 weeks, apparently. That's what they're doing, Well, who's to say he's not a heel when he comes back? He can still do that. We'll see.
Right. But maybe we'll see Judgment Day in its new incarnation with its new leader. I'm assuming it's Balor.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see them grow now. Maybe
there might be another member.
All right. So anyway, to get to the Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair match, we had a fatal 4-way match with Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Doudrop, and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley ended up rip-tying Doudrop after Doudrop was in control towards the latter part of this match. Liv Morgan made a comeback on her, went for a code breaker, hit it, then tried to hit it in Oblivion on Doudrop. Good luck with that. Not happening. And Doudrop shook that off, got rid of Liv Morgan, but then ate a riptide. Rhea Ripley won. I like the way they featured Doudrop in this match. She got, a good amount of offense in on everybody. There was certain parts where it looked like she was going to win, even though I felt all along like Ripley was going to win. I felt like Ripley was the right person to win. I think she's the right opponent for Bianca right now. If there's anyone that's going to beat Bianca, it should be Ripley, to be honest with you, in her new heel role. But it needed to be a heel. Bliss is not a heel. Morgan is not a heel. They weren't going to win this match. It was going to be Doudrop or Ripley. Now, I like Alexa Bliss. A lot of people think Bliss should have won. A lot of people think Liv Morgan. No, they should not have won. It shouldn't have been Liv Morgan because of whatever reason. She's a baby face. She's had a title opportunity with Becky. They've been teasing Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley for the longest time. They were the last two in the gauntlet going into the Elimination Chamber. They were the last two in the Elimination Chamber, I believe. Or was it Bliss and somebody in there? Regardless, they've had moments in Royal Rumbles where they're standing off. It's a feud that they've been waiting to have forever. Ripley is finally heel. It finally makes sense. And to me, Alexa Bliss is much more of a Money in the Bank competitor right now. Money in the Bank ladder match competitor than somebody that you want having to feud with Bianca Belair or whoever the champion is right now. I don't think Liv Morgan right now is a championship feud person. And, Doudrop, just the fact that she has Nikki ASH in her corner, isn't a championship contender. As much as I like Doudrop and as much as I like seeing her be put over in the match, I think Rhea Ripley is the right to win. So what do you think about the match and the Bianca and Rhea Ripley matchup?
Yeah, I feel similar in a lot of ways. I really liked how strong and confident Doudrop looked in this match. Like she looked really good. There's like a moment where she just like did like a slow turnaround. I think it even was like shared as a GIF online, like in social media, of her just like slowly turning around and staring at Rhea when it was just the two of them facing off. That was really good. Like I think about it, reminds me of like watching old matches where you'd have like, I don't know, two people that have never met up before, finally meeting in the ring, and they're two big bulls, and they're just like, oh man, here's the showdown stare. It was a good moment. They did a good job of telling some stories in the match.
That moment that they had with Doudrop and Rhea Ripley was a similar moment that they've had with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, over the past year or so. And I wonder if down the line, Doudrop's going to go against a champion, Rhea Ripley.
She looked real good in this match. Like Doudrop was exceptional. Like all four of them did look good, but really Doudrop and Rhea stuck out to me in this match. And I did like, though, that when they first started, you kind of had like the 2-on-2 battle where Rhea and Liv went at each other immediately, and then Doudrop and Alexa Bliss went at each other immediately. So that was cool. A little good storytelling there to start us off.
Yeah, they did a good job going straight to blows. And who went straight to blows? They had a Tower of Doom spot in the match. Yep. So that was fun, but it was a good match. There were some people that thought that it was a mess or something. I thought it was a good match. I thought it was
good too. I think like maybe the one thing they could have done a little bit better job of having, like they definitely had obvious spots where they could only have two wrestlers in the ring and the other two were just outside and you didn't even see what they were doing. They were just, laying outside the ring, recuperating, whatever. And there was a lot of like moments like that where it kind of seemed like, all right, these two have been in the ring by themselves for quite a while now. And then somebody would just fly in out of nowhere. And that was actually kind of exciting, I thought, where like you just had, Alexa Bliss run in and stop a pin from happening, So that was cool. They just, I don't know, the chemistry was slightly off, but I liked the psychology, the story they were telling during this match. And Rhea was like doing a great job of telling Liv to join the Judgment Day. She was like really like giving her some lip service, not in the way that y'all probably am thinking right now, but she was really like telling her a lot of insults and stuff and, telling her, hey, are you ready? Are you ready to join us? That was cool. They had that moment where Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan like rolled up into a ball and then they just like went into several circles for like 10 seconds in the middle of the ring, where like they couldn't get each other's shoulders down and the refs just like watching them roll in a big circle. So, they hit some fun spots. I mean, like I wrote down quite a few different spots that were cool. Doudrop did a Michinoku driver that looked really good. Like just real crisp, clean, like good chemistry where she's sitting down at the same time as slamming the person down. It's really good. And Rhea delivering the riptide on Doudrop was something else too. I mean, it wasn't great. She didn't get her up all the way. She got her up about 80%, but you know what? I'll give it to her. Doudrop's pretty big. So that's amazing. It was a good match. I enjoyed it a lot.
And what do you think about Ripley and Bianca? Like, who do you think's going to come out on top in that?
That's tough to pick, honestly. I feel like there's good reasons for both of them to win, but I feel like Rhea's going to have to get the Judgment Day win here. I think they're going to give the Judgment Day faction in a way a rub by giving Rhea that title. So I think she's going to win between that matchup. But I can't wait, because if they play the Judgment Day music for Rhea when she wins, I'm happy. Or if they play Rhea's new entrance music too, that's really good. I like her new entrance music. I don't know if a lot of people like it or not, but I don't know. I get down to it when she comes out. So
I think Rhea is going to win too. I don't think that they.
Yeah.
I think they like Bianca better as a chaser than they do as a title holder.
Yeah, and I think some people would say that even though it's been a short time, her title run seems stale already. Like they haven't done enough to really like build her as a big title, big champion. So, I think the chase is going to be on for her. We'll see.
Yeah, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
It's good either way. I love it.
Yep. So we had Ezekiel losing to Otis. KO challenged him to a match next week. Ezekiel evidently, according to him, lied to KO and said his name was Elias to get this match. I don't know what they're doing with this. What do you think? Do you think Ezekiel gets his win back next week?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where they're going with this and what they're trying to do with Ezekiel. It's all confusing to me, but I'm not going to complain because KO makes it entertaining. Unfortunately, I don't think Ezekiel makes it that entertaining. KO is like way better at making it entertaining than. But I'll say in this match, he looked pretty good. He was more emotional, more entertaining in this match against Otis, but still, like, I thought the way that he won was a little weird. Like, you really think that you can crucifix flip Otis? Yeah. Otis weighs like twice as much as you. How are you going to use your half weight to flip him? That was weird to me.
Yeah, so Riddle had the MITB segment. Obviously, that was, just a segment to get some exposure for Miz's show and then get some heat on him as he messes with Riddle, get some sympathy on Riddle as he gets attacked by Ciampa. The random attacks on Ciampa, I'm not sure where they're going, if you want to comment on that. And then, we talked about where Riddle's going in the SmackDown review a lot, but, here he is again, beating somebody on Raw with an RKO. So it was a nice, quick match he had with Miz. It served its purpose. And
he, even though he was beat up beforehand, he was in control most of the fight anyway. So it really put Riddle over.
Yeah. And then Ciampa with the attacks, the one constant I'll say that I said this on Monday is that he was attacking Ali after either a Miz match or a Miz TV. And now he's attacking Riddle during a Miz TV. So does Ciampa have something to do with Miz, or is that just a coincidence?
I'll be honest, I would like it, but I think it's just a coincidence. But the Miz is somebody that he is a loner. He doesn't really, ever since Johnny, what's his name? I'm sorry. He left the WWE. He used to be
John Morrison.
Thank you, Morrison. They were a good tag team, but ever since then, he's been a loner. The Miz doesn't really work with anybody else except for like on at WrestleMania when he worked with Logan Paul for just, a month. So, to have him work with somebody is a little strange, but I would like to see it. I think the Miz's character could use a little bit of a change. And I think his change could be more of like a manager type role, because he's not wrestling as much. And it's one of his people complain about is he's so safe in the ring and he does the same thing over and over. And, there's not much in the ring to be desired. So I would like to see him in some kind of like manager type role or some kind of role where he's kind of in control of another person. And it'd be sweet if he was like having Ciampa do these attacks and he's like acting like he has no clue, but he knows for sure. He's like asking Ciampa to do it. That would be sweet. I would really enjoy that. But I don't think so. I think it's just a coincidence. I mean, plus Riddle came out and challenged him, or I'm sorry, the Riddle came out and then Maurice like said, hey, why don't I have you fight the Miz? So like the fight wasn't really on. He was supposed to just be a guest on Miz TV. So I don't see why he would plan on having Ciampa attack one of his guests on Miz TV when everything was supposed to be like nice. You know, so like I think it's just coincidence, but I was actually really entertained by the whole thing. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people shit on Miz TV and usually his segments can be really bad and redundant and, you know, make you groan, you know, but I enjoyed the shit out of this. I thought it was hilarious. The Miz is the perfect person for this. Who else in the WWE do you want to see get pantsed? Like, honestly, think about it. Like, sure, you know, like some people you hate, but who do you think you want to get embarrassed the most? The Miz. So, like, why not have a segment that just completely embarrasses him? And then you have, you know, Maurice trying to like talk about his balls, you know, just like says he's an average balls and then like gets it bigger. Like, oh, actually, he's got big balls, huge balls, the biggest balls ever, you know. Like just embarrassing him even more, you know. He's the person for that.
Definitely served his purpose. Miz is, you know, guy that is going to take the pantsing and it's going to work on him and it's going to make Riddle look, you know, back his, you know, comedy backing up, you know, what people get behind for him. And then he backed it up in the ring. So I think, you know, it all worked out. Last big significant thing overall to me was Lashley comes out in the ring, talks about how he beat Omos and MVP at Hell in the Cell or Hell in a Cell or Hell at the Cell, Hell beside the Cell, Hell on top of the Cell.
Cell. He's
called it a different thing every time he's mentioned it. But he gets interrupted by Theory. Theory's real confident, tells him to get out of his ring. And you know, Bobby wants to fight him right then and there for his title. Theory doesn't want to do it, but it's going to probably happen. Do you see it happening? Where do you see it going? And then tied into this is we have John Cena returning. A lot of people think Cena's going to face Theory. I think it might be a little bit early for that. But if it is, maybe they're getting the title off of Theory, putting it on Lashley, making him elevated a little bit. And then they're going to have Theory face Cena without the title. That way they don't have to put a title on Cena.
Have they had Bobby and Cena fight before? Have they feuded?
At some point, yeah, I believe they have, but not necessarily. I mean, not Lashley right now is at a different level, I think, than he's ever really been. I think how he's been the last year or two is a little bit different than he's been 10 years ago when Cena was, you know, in his prime.
I mean, Bobby Lashley came in as a monster, you know. He had the freaking colored contacts and, you know, he just came in to destroy people. You know, it was almost like a Veer character when he first came in. And I just don't remember specific feuds between them. But I mean, I would be down for a 3-way match between Theory, Bobby, and Cena. That would be dope as hell. But I don't think it's going to get that way. I do think Cena's going to come in and change. Cena and Theory makes a lot of sense. You know, that just Theory is the up and comer that feels a lot like how John Cena came up, except for, you know, it's obvious that Theory is being pushed by Vince McMahon because they've said it multiple times. But back when Cena came in, I don't know if it was as obvious as Theory. Obviously, Cena was getting pushed, but not like storyline was that obvious. So, but similar characters either way. That would be a great feud between them. And then Bobby's just getting mixed in. I think Bobby's just he's just trying to stay in some kind of championship picture, whether it be the U.S. championship or eventually the undisputed, unified, universal, whatever championship title they want to call it with 18 names. I don't think he's ever going to win that or maybe challenge Roman, but maybe if somebody gets a title off of Roman, then he's back into a title picture. I don't know. I think he just is trying to stay around titles. He's trying to stay title relevant in some way. You know, he's not a mid-carder, so he shouldn't be going after mid-card titles. He's a main-carder, but I think he's just trying to stay in some kind of title picture.
Well, Cena is a, when you said had they feuded before, they feuded a lot before back in the day. And, there was even something earlier this year about how Bobby Lashley wanted to get his rivalry with John Cena reinvigorated or whatever. So it's possible that something could go that way with him. I think
it would be cool.
Yeah, it would be. And it'd be cool if Lashley wins it off Theory. And then Theory wants to get it back, and John Cena interrupts and says, "Nah, I'm going to be the fighting U.S. champion.
Yep,
we're going to have a 3-way at freaking SummerSlam." I don't know.
It's the exact story I'm thinking. Yeah,
and then that totally elevates that title, especially at a time when, as you said, the Universal Undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion of the World, WWE Universe, All Champion, Unified, Undisputed Champion,
head of champion table.
Tribal piece of trash. But it's just
undisputed tribal chief.
As long as that championship or championships are not on the show, then they need to do whatever they can to make the U.S. title important. And if Theory's the guy and Lashley's, one of your top baby faces, if not the top baby face on Raw with Cody not there, then, doing something with him and the U.S. title isn't a bad idea because it ends up helping Theory in the long run.
It lifts the title too. It lifts the title up more.
Exactly. It lifts the title a lot. If you involve John Cena, you're then lifting everybody. You're lifting the title, Lashley, and Theory all at the same time. And, I don't know. So I wasn't even thinking about involving all three of them in the title. I was thinking drop the title to Lashley, go ahead, Theory and Cena. That way Lashley can elevate the title. Cena can elevate Theory. But at the same time, you could have Cena elevate everybody, including the title, all at once. But then again, you're dealing with that happening in just one match. Maybe they need more matches to fill their card. Now, it doesn't look like that because lately their pay-per-view cards have been 6 or 7 matches. That's it. So, having the 3 of them in a match isn't a bad idea. It gets
you go. And I thought of that without even having knowledge of previous feuds.
All right. Well, that's about all we got for the week. Do you got anything else for the week prior to SmackDown other than the awards we're going to go through?
No, I mean, we had Veer cutting an actual promo, so that was noteworthy. I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean, he got through it. I could understand everything he was saying just fine. So I don't know why they weren't doing that with him from the beginning. Like, I mean, I know you're trying to make him a monster, but monsters can talk too. In fact, some of the best monsters out there are the best talkers. Seth frickin' Rollins is one of the best talkers, and that's what makes him such a good monster sometimes is what he says. So, like, let the dude talk. So that was cool. Hey, Veer, shout out to you, man. Little conversation. That was cool. I like that. The match wasn't really interesting. I find Dominic very boring, and Veer does the same stuff every match. So the match itself was pretty boring to me, but Veer spoke. So that was cool.
Yeah, I thought Veer in the promo was interesting, and they, like you said, they should have done this all along, but they wanted to try the monster savage thing. So let's go into awards. What was your best match of the week?
Let's see. Well, it has to be the most obvious. I mean, it's the triple Raw Women's Title Championship, man. That was phenomenal storytelling, and the whole thing top to bottom was just great. Loved it.
Yeah, that was my best match as well. I did think that the Hell in a Cell match was outstanding too, but I think for what it was, the opening match, triple threat, 3 women, no cell, and not a singles match. This was the best match. So yeah. I agree with you. We'll sweep that one. What was your worst match?
It's kind of a toss up, really. I just wasn't that intrigued by the Otis and Ezekiel matches. It's a little boring to me, but I went with the Omos crushing Cedric Alexander because we've already seen that. We've already seen Omos crush like 12 people. I don't need to see him crush any more people. Cedric Alexander is better than that. At least let him get off like a couple athletic moves before Omos crushes him. Give me something more. So, I just wasn't into that match. Oh, what was yours?
I just think Veer, if he's going to beat Dominic up, like, can his dad just let his son get beat up because he decided that? They're supposed to be baby faces, and he's got to save him every time.
Yeah, crazy.
If he wants to sign up to be in a match, then if he gets his ass kicked, that is what it is. Now, exactly. If he wants to break up a post-match like beatdown, or if he's holding the cervical clutch in for way longer than he should, that's one thing. But like, don't come in the middle of the match. Then you just look like a poor sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, exactly.
So, all right, best
sore
promo.
Loser.
Yeah, sore loser.
I really like pretty much the whole Judgment Day promo, I guess, top to bottom, from Finn Balor and Damian Priest and Rhea and Edge. Give them all best promo.
All right, and then I'm going to agree with you. That was the best promo. What was your worst promo?
I'm still going to go back to it. She doesn't convince me. Ronda Rousey, she's not good at delivering her lines. I'm sorry, but like, Shotzi scared the shit out of me with the way she was talking. Ronda Rousey was putting me to bed, so I'm sorry, but it's still my worst promo.
All right, mine was Xia Li. I couldn't understand her at all, and to be honest with you, Xia Li feels like she's trying to speak English and just maybe Asuka also. I would give worst promo to. I just can't remember if this week she cut one or not, but the anime, because I seen her on Raw Talk. I don't remember if it was on Raw Talk. The crying, the baby, and the fake stuff, like, she doesn't talk like that in real life. I've seen shoot interviews with her. So why does she do that?
I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing with their character. Makes no sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. Xia Li was mine. What's your best segment or moment?
I really liked when Seth attacked Cody. That, like, when that went down as soon, and I know it might have seemed obvious, but like, I was just like, as soon as Cody turned around at the top of the ramp, I'm like, here comes Seth, and I got all excited, and then I saw him with the sledgehammer, and I got even more excited. I'm like, yes, he's got the sledgehammer. So yeah, that was my favorite segment.
Yeah, I thought the Judgment Day turn segment was the best. Well done. Kind of nobody saw it coming. So
yeah,
everybody was probably like, I knew it was Finn Balor. What? They're turning on Edge. And I thought they'd turn on Edge too. I really did. A couple weeks ago, I thought that, but whatever. What are we at? Worst segment? What'd you have for worst segment or moment?
I changed my mind on this. Like, I was thinking just basically the Xia Li promo was probably my worst segment, but the Lacey Evans thing, like, when she started up before the match, I can't get down with her promos anymore. I can't. So that was like the worst segment to me.
That's actually what I was going to say. I'm sick of her saying that everybody is not better than her, but she's not better. Whatever the hell she says about not being better than anybody. Who the hell cares? Just go the fuck out. You were better than her in that match because you fucking won. You're going to Money in the Bank and she's not.
You know what? She must have woken up and worked. That's why she won, because she woke up and she worked. She's such a unique individual that she woke up and then she worked.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Best line.
You know, I had two of them. Like, I will say that Ronda Rousey's line when she's like, do you want to fight for a title shot, Ski? You're on, Ski. I kind of like that. I laughed. But I'll just give KO love every time that he's in a segment where he gets to talk. And when he was in the match at Hell in a Cell, he did a double fish hook on Ezekiel, and he was like making him smile. And he goes, smile, Elias, smile. I loved that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I had Pat McAfee on SmackDown saying the smoke is worth the roll.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. He said something before that, and then he was like, and the smoke is worth the roll. And it was like, oh my God. It's like a stoner.
He was really good on SmackDown.
Yeah, he had a lot of good lines. You know, it's like that stoner when you're like so stoned that you're like don't want to roll another one, but it'll be worth it because it's so good. Whatever, I don't know.
Tacking on.
But worst line.
It had to have been during Bobby Lashley's promo. Theory comes out and he's like, check out these biceps. Are you freaking kidding me, Theory? Come on. Get out of here. Stupid line. It didn't make any sense. Like, I was with him. I was like, all right, cool. You know, like you're telling Bobby, you know, you're a champion, you know, all that. And then he goes, check out these biceps. I'm like, really? That's where you went? Biceps? Come on. So that was lame.
Yeah. My worst line was actually that we get up and wake up and win or whatever the hell. We get up and
work, win.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to write a song. Wake up, work, and win. It's going to be a country song. It's going to be a hit, I'm telling you.
What was your worst dressed?
Dominic, I hate his gear. And then on top of it, he was wearing red and black, which is the same red and black that Veer was wearing. Like, why are you guys? They look like they could have been a tag team. They matched so well. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So maybe I'll give it to both of them. I'll say Dominic and Veer's matching tag team red and black gear.
Yeah, I don't ever like what Dominic wears either. My worst dressed, honestly, was Sami Zayn in the Bloodline shirt. I just think he looks like an idiot.
Oh, so. Come on. That was like your best dress like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Because it was hilarious.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, dude,
think of it, huh?
As long as Ezekiel's on any show, it's him. Like, he needs to stop wearing that stupid
Same
crap.
thing with Nikki Ash. She was on the show, too. I almost said Nikki Ash in her stupid outfit that she's still wearing. But, yeah, I mean, I could say that every week.
So who'd you have for best dressed?
You know what, man? I got to do it. I got to give it to Rhea's booty shorts that she's starting to wear. I loved it, dude. She's got some booty meat hanging out. And I do like her addition of the purple sleeve as well, the Judgment Day color purple sleeve in there. So yeah, I'm gonna say she was best dressed. How about you?
Yeah. She had more stud stuff on Raw. She actually
her jacket too. Her jacket was great.
Hell in a Cell, she didn't have her gear for whatever reason and ended up wearing like whatever she had. But
she had a jacket on Raw though. It was great.
Yeah, for best dressed, I had Seth Rollins in the polka dotted suit.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
psychological warfare there.
What'd you have for best move?
Well, I had two of them actually. I thought the Spanish Fly that Theory did, the modified Spanish Fly, that was awesome. He did it in the Hell Cell match. He he's got Ali on the top rope and he leaps up onto the top rope with him and he pulls down Ali by the head. It's almost kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a DDT or some sorts, but yeah, that Spanish Fly was really cool. It looked great too. Like he executed it perfectly. Both of them, I should say. But also I got to give it to I don't know if anybody caught it, but like it was the most obvious move in the entire Hell in a Cell show was when Asuka caught Bianca's kick and put them both in the double ankle lock. Like everybody loved that move. That was a great move.
Yeah, that was a good move. I thought the best move of the week was a Spanish Fly, but until I saw the blocked RKO right into the Blue Thunder Bomb by Zayn on
SmackDown. That was great.
Yeah, so I would go with that one. What was your worst move?
Well, I'm going to mention two things, but the worst move was Asuka punching Bianca right in the butthole. Why was she doing that? That was like Bianca was standing on the ropes and Asuka comes over and just starts punching her right in her butthole. I'm like, come on, Asuka, you can do better than that. Come on. But then I have like an honorable mention too. And every time I see it, it makes me giggle because I think it looks stupid. I don't think it's like a horrible move, but I think it just looks dumb. And whenever Becky does the disarm her, it looks like she's basically acting like she has a giant dick and she's like flopping around her dick. Like seriously, next time you see her do the disarmer, it looks like she's just like, oh, look at my giant dick. She's like flopping it around. It's I can't believe it, dude. Like it's the stupidest move to me. I don't know. It doesn't even look convincing that it hurts. I hate the disarmer.
Yeah, it's funny. When Liv Morgan went for the Oblivion on Doudrop and like just didn't have her at all, like I thought that was pretty bad. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So that was my worst move. What was your best acting?
I'm gonna say it. Nobody probably will agree with me, but I thought The Miz acting like a fucking geek in his segment was hilarious. Like him responding to being called he has tiny balls and then like having to roll around on the mat after he gets his pants pulled off. Like that actually takes acting. Like to pull that off convincingly to where like you could just laugh at him and not feel sorry. Like it's okay. Like go ahead and laugh at him. It's hilarious. He deserves it. Fucking asshole. Look at him. Fucking, you deserve this shit, Miz. Take it. Like it takes a good actor to make you hate somebody so much that you want to see him get embarrassed. So I'm going to give best acting to The Miz. I'll give him some respect.
I'm actually going to give it to Shotzi because I wasn't expecting her to come out and cut a promo walking all the way to the ring and seem somewhat confident doing it. So
and she killed it.
Yeah. And who'd you have for worst acting?
It's my usual. Ronda does not convince me that she's the baddest woman in the world. So she's my worst actor. Although Xia Li, she's starting to convince me that she's probably just as bad.
Yeah, I think Ezekiel saying that he's a liar and then saying, I don't know what the hell he was doing there.
That wasn't even funny.
I don't get it. I don't
don't either. Like,
it's just not good.
Like
because he's saying he's not a liar. It wasn't
even funny. Come on.
But he's acting. But he's saying he's not a liar. But he is lying because he's acting. So what the hell is he really doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know where they're going with this.
I don't know. It's weird. But
yeah. Well, hopefully KO can move on from it pretty soon and get into something else.
Yeah. Maybe KO turns babyface and goes against Seth Rollins for you. I don't know.
Yep, there you go.
That's all we got for right now. So we got
midweek review at the end of the week.
That's right. We'll get it out when we can, though. Best we can. That's all we can do.
That's right. We're going to do this for you guys. I'm sorry it's late, but hey, better late than never.
That's right. You got anything else for everybody before we head out of here?
No, just excited to see what happens next week. Got a lot of storylines advancing, and I want to see what happens next week with Roman. It's very important to see what happens with that title match against Riddle.
Yeah, maybe they'll change it to like just for the WWE title, and then he'll drop it to Roman.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll never happen. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested to see what's going to happen coming up. We got Max Dupree next Friday, and then Monday we got whatever we got. But obviously we got the title. You know, we got another loaded SmackDown next week, and we're going to get a bunch of Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So that's nice.
Yep, and a lot of stories on Raw. We got to hear what the Judgment Day does and see what Edge is doing. You know, well, he's hurt, but
figure out why the hell Champ is attacking people for no reason.
Yep, still need to figure that out.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, follow us on Twitter at BeyondMattWWE. Send us an email, matt@beyondthemat.com. Remember to follow us on any podcast platform and subscribe on Patreon. $1 is our lowest tier for ad-free content. I got nothing else for you tonight. You got anything, Kyle?
Nope. Good night, everybody. Peace.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and we will catch you next time. I appreciate you all listening.
Thanks for listening to Beyond the Mat. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a show.